So I want to talk today about KJ Final Walk, louder audio. Okay, this is an article that was put together by two reporters at the Valdosta Daily Times. You can Google this yourself. This is the one you want, KJ Final Walk, louder audio. There's also one that says Kendrick Johnson's Final Walk, and the audio is subdued. You can't really hear it. Okay, so I've paused it. There's also an article that is in written format that goes along with this. So I've paused it, and let me back it up a little bit so you see what it's all about. So the reporters took the video that was released by Lowndes High School to all the reporters, including CNN's Victor Blackwell, and the VDT reporters followed KJ through the school because there were allegations that the school had tampered with the video. There was no tamperage, as this makes clear. What happens is you don't have any timestamps on a lot of the video, and most of the video was uploaded to 4 different servers, and the servers were not time synchronized. So that caused people to think that the school had altered video because some of it is stamped 110, some of it is stamped 127. But what these reporters did was they actually followed KJ, and you can see that he moves through the school, and there's no problems with how he goes from one place to the other, and he moves through the school until eventually ending up in the old gym. This is him with the white shoes, yellow notebook, white shirt, and what you're going to see is he goes across the gym floor, and that's the last we see of him right there, and he moves out of the frame. And then if you keep watching, these two people magically appear in the frame, the green shirt and the blue shirt. Let me back this up so you can see it better. Okay, so there's KJ's foot. He's last seen in the frame. Let's look. And then all of a sudden these two guys show up. Let me see if I can get it any better. Here he is moving across the floor. Watch in the background. There they go. Just boof. There they are. Okay, so people looked at that and they thought 1 hour of footage is missing. No, what happened was the camera turned off. And the reason it turned off is because these cameras, let me go back to the gym and I'll stop it in the gym. Okay, stop. The reason these cameras turn off is because the cameras have a motion sensor that has a limited range. So you have to imagine that on the other side of the school, the other side of the gym rather, on this side, up where the ceiling meets the wall, there are cameras. And I want to say there were 4 in the gym. I don't remember exactly. So don't come back and say she doesn't know what she's talking about, because there were not 4. Okay, this has been going on for 9 years and I simply don't remember. So over here there are cameras, one of which is taking this video, and the camera has a limited range of the motion sensor. So in this range, which is like 25 to 30 feet, as long as there's motion inside that range, the camera will turn on. And as soon as the motion leaves that range, there's no motion in there, then the camera turns off. And that's why these people magically appeared. So it turned off after KJ ran out of the frame. That's the last we see of him alive on Earth. And he's moving in the direction where he is found in the mats later on the next day. And then these two people magically appeared. These two people, blue and green shirt. And they appeared on the video, but it happened approximately, I don't know, maybe an hour later, maybe longer, because the camera was off during that period because there was no movement inside the motion sensor. Now, Victor Blackwell and his quote-unquote expert, Grant Fredericks, got out there and they wove this outlandish tale of how the school had altered the video and in order to hide the identity of the murderers of Kendrick Johnson. No, these are not state-of-the-art video equipment. They were not put in place like a bank would use video equipment to try to record the identity of a bank robber, where you have to have very clear, precise video. As you know, public school systems simply don't receive the funding that they need, so the IT systems are not upgraded every year. These videos, this surveillance camera is in place usually to find the kids that are skipping class, pulling a fire alarm, smoking, whatever. They're not there to catch a killer or to identify a bank robber. In fact, students, the reason that the students images are blurry, like this right here. This was also said by Victor Blackwell and Grant Fredericks and the Kendrick Johnson family and their attorney. Oh, look, they're blurring the videos in order to protect the identity of the killers. No, they're blurry because of a federal law called FERPA, Federal Educational Rights and Privacy Act, and it takes a judge's order in order to release video of students inside a school system. And the KJ family's attorney and the KJ family, they were told this over and over. They were said, go to the judge, make your request, and see if the judge will lift the FERPA privacy requirements. And he never would, but he kept holding press conferences. His name is Shaveen King. He kept holding press conferences, throwing accusations up at the school and at all the students who were in the videos with KJ. Finally, the school attorney and the sheriff's attorney went to the judge themselves, and they got the judge to issue the ruling, and then what we call the unredacted video was released to everybody, including CNN. And that's when you can see the students' faces, and that's when the KJ family and their followers started taking still shots of the students, blowing it up and plastering them on the web with the captions "murderers," and I may come back to that later. So I guess the things I want you to take from this are, number one, there's a federal law called FERPA, which requires that the images of the students be blurred. Number two, you can see KJ moving through the school system, and it's all continuous. He goes from one place to the next. All you have to do is find KJ Final Walk Louder Audio by the Valdosta Daily Times. After this, you can go to videos that were put together by Victor Blackwell, where he alleges that, where he and his so-called expert Grant Fredericks allege that the school system tampered with the video, that there's missing video. There is not. And they eventually got the unredacted video, just like the Valdosta Daily Times, just like you can, because you can write to the sheriff's attorneys and the school attorneys, and you can get the case file, which is huge at this point because it's been 9 years, and you can look at it yourself. When the judge made that ruling, it released not only the actual non-blurred images of the kids, but it also released the names of the kids that were in the case file. Up until that point, they had also been hidden because they were minors. So I got all of this information very early on because and I did not get a unredacted case file until it was made available to everybody, but I went around and talked to people, which Victor Blackwell was certainly capable of doing. I talked to the superintendent, the assistant superintendent, the coach, school resource officers, the school attorney, the sheriff's attorney, the sheriff, deputies, and some parents and some students came and talked to me, and a lot of parents were worried that their kids' images were going to be shown on camera, and then the KJ family would come after them, and that's exactly what the KJ family did. So I don't know why Victor Blackwell didn't talk to everybody that I talked to, because Victor Blackwell obviously has a larger network of contacts around the country. And when the Valdosta Daily Times was covering these articles, I was able to talk to their reporters. And we also had WALB and WCTV right here in Valdosta, and he could have talked to their reporters, but he didn't do any of this. He just decided, in my opinion, to go out there and try to make a name for himself the same way that the US DOJ Attorney did when he wrote the email, or she wrote the email, I don't know which one it was. They said, this case is going to make me famous. And I think that's what Victor Blackwell did, and I think that's what Grant Fredericks thought he was doing. And they should have done their due diligence, and they should have looked a little harder at what all of this means, because the idea that over 100 people at a school system would cover up a murder is just an outlandish, outrageous idea, number one. Number two, there is absolutely no physical or witness testimony to that effect, with the exception of a small, less than 1-inch bruise that the private pathologist says that he found. There is nothing else to explain the way the body looked like, and there's nothing else that coincides with that bruise to say, yeah, that's why he died. It was because of something associated with that bruise. So I will come back to that part later, but as far as the video allegations, I just want you to know just how ridiculous they are, and that Victor Blackwell is to be blamed for a lot of the conspiracy theory that ended up going out everywhere over this case. Okay, thank you.